week and throughout the month, we're challenging you to increase the plant power in your diet. It's 30 days of time to add more whole plant foods into your diet. We're going to help you understand why whole plant foods are super beneficial for your optimal health. You're going to learn from the providers in our practice and experts around the world about why eating more plant forward is best for your health. We're here to support you on your journey to making lasting health changes, no matter where you're starting from. Just because we're talking about eating more plants doesn't mean you have to exclusively eat plants. So we're here to help. Please continue to share this registration link with people you know. All are welcome. You do not have to be a part of our practice to enjoy these sessions. They're all recorded, so remember that. If there's something you liked, you can reference it again later or share it later. We have so many great recipes and information for all of you. I hope that you really enjoy this next month to take control of your health. Plant-powered challenges are some of our favorite time of our teams, some of the favorite parts of our team's year. We've hosted this challenge because of we continue to keep doing it because of the amazing feedback and hard work we've seen in our patients. Look at all these quotes. One of our patients said, they're so happy and proud that they started the challenge. They reduced their triglycerides, which is part of their cholesterol, from 251 to 115, and their A1C from 6.0 to 5.6. Some of the first changes people even see is just more energy, feel more vibrant. By eating more fiber, reducing processed foods, patients enjoy the tremendous changes even within a few days. Some of these changes may take months for you to notice, but we encourage you to start now and see what evolves. You will be encouraged by like-minded community that will support you along your way. Let's take a look at what we're currently eating and what more plants can do for us. America has what we call the standard American diet, and our diet drives disease, unfortunately. Only 7% of the standard American diet is whole foods, fruits and vegetables, foods from the earth the way nature intended it. 42% of our diet is animal products, and the rest is processed foods. A foundation of whole plant foods, like on the picture on the right, contains fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, and minimally processed foods. The foundation in that diet is in plants, almost the direct opposite. So working towards more of the picture on the right has a direct correlation with our health. Even the smallest changes can have large health impacts. An article published in JAMA in Internal Medicine in 2016 said that replacing even 3% of dietary protein from animal products, think meat and cheese, with proteins from plant sources like whole grains, vegetables, legumes, can reduce the risk of death regardless of any other unhealthy lifestyle factors. That would be the equivalent of eating one serving daily of beans in place of an animal protein, which means even small changes can start to make a significant impact. Recognizing now that where we start, if you start on the left, work towards the right, you can really have tremendous health gains and reduce the risk of some of these diseases that I'll talk about in the next slide. Chronic disease makes up 8 out of the 10 leading causes of death in the US. You can see those highlighted above. Diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease. And 6 out of 10 of Americans are living with at least one chronic disease. This drives in a tremendous impact on our economy. Over $4.5 trillion were spent on chronic conditions in 2022. The cost is expected to rise with even more medications being used to help control weight and reduce the risk of disease. Aside from age, poor diet quality is currently the single greatest factor for chronic disease. Other factors, including the social determinants of health, like our environment you see below, neighborhood, education level, economic stability, and healthcare access and quality, also impact our ability to control chronic disease. The one thing that's a common link between many of our chronic diseases, though, is the standard American diet, which I talked about. It's high in salt, sugar, fats, and causes chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and changes in our gut health. An eating pattern that helps to emphasize more whole plant foods can really work to reduce inflammation in our body, which can directly impact all of these chronic diseases, reduce stress in our body, and improve our gut health. How do we address chronic disease? This is good news because lifestyle changes have the impact to change all the stats I just shared, which could impact our healthcare savings, create it, create less costs spent by our country, and improve our overall health. As you see in this slide, diet quality improvement can lead to increased health span. What is health span? David Katz, which is a leading expert, described it as adding years to life and life to years. So it's not how long you live, it's how healthy you are when you're alive. We know Americans live to our late 70s on average, but we have a 12.4-year gap between living and living well for Americans. This is a much larger gap than other industrialized nations experience. Our health span is not improving. You can see over time that it's actually increasing the gap between our life expectancy and our health expectancy. Improving our diet quality by eating more whole plant foods equates to increasing our health span and healthy aging. A Nobel Prize winning scientist and author, Elizabeth Blackburn, has studied the protective cap on our chromosomes called telomeres and their impact on aging. Think of them as like the protective cap on your shoelaces. Dr. Blackburn provides the dietary recommendations based on her studies that increasing the length of your cell's telomeres will improve your lifespan and your health span. How you do that? You eat more whole plant foods, including beans and legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and other brightly colored fruits and vegetables. Well, we're getting into cold and flu season, and what is important is your gut microbiome. Our 70% of our immune system is actually in your gut. Plants are full of disease-fighting fiber and phytonutrients that help to support a healthy gut development, strengthen our gut lining, and improve our health. Where do you start? You add more diverse whole plant foods. It's not a guarantee to stop an infection, but we do find that when we have a strong gut lining, our immune system's better, it improves our brain health, and reduces the risk of chronic disease. We often hear healthy eating equals higher grocery bills. Now, recognizing that grocery bills have gone up across the board, plant foods, animal foods, they are all more expensive. But if you learn to do it right, working with our practice and our teams, we can help you find a financially stable way to eat healthy foods. And the evidence supports it. A 2015 study published by the Journal of Hunger and Environmental Nutrition found that eating meatless meats can save you nearly $750 a year. So think more beans. A can of beans is much cheaper than a steak. A 2017 report from the Institute of Economic Affairs showed that buying fruits and vegetables is cheaper than buying processed junk food, ready meals, and takeout food. Think about a fast food cheeseburger. It can cost anywhere between $2 and $7 now on national average. You can purchase a pound of apples, a pound of sweet potatoes, and a 1.5 pound of carrots for the same amount of money and have a much bigger volume of food. We have a eating on a budget guide in our practice as well that we are happy to share with you during this plant powered challenge. Eating overnight oats in the morning, a yogurt bowl with fresh fruits, nuts, and seeds can cost anywhere from $1 to $2 on average in the morning. You can make a healthy wrap with hummus and vegetables for a similar cost. You can make a Mexican bowl with beans and rice and salsa, again, for under $2 per serving. So thinking about it, we can help you reframe that idea that healthy eating is super expensive. Healthy foods can become preventative in another way, preventing you from spending thousands and thousands of dollars in associated medical bills from having uncontrolled diabetes or hypertension or heart disease in the future. Another common misconception is that eating more plant forward gets rid of flavor. It's bland, it's boring. I don't know how to prepare it. We have a Cooking for Health program that teaches you how to cook more of these foods if you want to do it. But guaranteed, the more plants you eat, your taste buds change, your gut microbiome craving changes, and you will not miss out on flavor. You'll just discover that you can enjoy new foods. By eating more whole plant foods, you actually reset your palate from these hyper palatable foods of high sodium, high sugar, and actually learn to crave more plant foods. Whole plant foods are high in micronutrients and perfectly packaged with fiber to provide what our body needs to stay healthy. We often start patients in our practice on a palate reset or jumpstart program to reacquaint their taste buds with the taste of whole food. Many people are surprised to find that they can successfully reset their palate within a matter of weeks and begin to really enjoy more whole plant foods. When you start your journey today, I guarantee that if you shift your eating pattern, you will start to appreciate these foods more and more. There's also room for more herbs and spices to add to your plate to provide delicious flavor to many of our foods. Think about turmeric, garlic, onion. All of these have tremendous anti-inflammatory properties as well. But if you put on too much salt, you could actually elevate blood pressure and lead to damage in the arteries in the body and increase the risk for heart disease, kidney disease, and negatively impact brain health. A lot of our processed foods have a ton of added sodium. So when we start to control what we're doing, make our own foods, we get to control the amount of sodium and flavor that we add. Almost all herbs and spices, whether fresh or dried, are rich in antioxidants and phytonutrients to help fight inflammation, lower cholesterol, and have protective effects against cancer. Think of your spice rack as your medicine cabinet.
Thank you, Dr. Vollmer, for reviewing with us the many ways how food is medicine, how food can help us prevent disease, reverse symptoms of disease. It's so great to know that we can actually take some control over our health. We can be an active participant in our own health outcomes. If many of you that are doing the challenge this year have been patients of ours or are active patients of ours in our practice. And as you know, the prescriptions that come from the providers, they don't come in the way of medications or procedures. It's all about habits and behaviors. And so we just reviewed with you many ways on how food is medicine. But you know, how do we establish some of these really good sustainable habits around bringing more of whole plant foods into your dietary pattern? So today I'm going to talk a little bit about that habit shift, how we can build better behaviors that last. You may be thinking to yourself that you've tried everything in the past, or that you do well for a while, and then something got you off track, and then you revert back to your old ways. And for many of us, that's happened to many of us. We encourage you to come into this plant-powered challenge journey with a different mindset this year. Go into this challenge believing that you will see progress toward a healthier habit. And all the plant-powered challenge veterans that we have today on the call with us, welcome back. And as I go through some of these evidence-based strategies for behavior change, reflect on what might have worked for you in the past. What didn't work for you, right? Or do you need a different mindset this year? Do you need to get back on track? Maybe, it's right after the holidays, it's January, right? We're like really excited to see some change or get back on track. All of us are a work in progress. Everybody is. It is the rule that we're going to get off track with our good habits. So let's talk briefly about these strategies to set you up for an even better plant-powered challenge this year. So on the slide, like I mentioned, it contains some evidence-based strategy for creating sustainable health behavior change. And as you begin this challenge with a goal or a habit in mind, let's be specific. Be as specific as possible. Some examples might include, I'm going to add, 2 servings of vegetables a day. If you're not a big veggie eater right now, maybe you just want to start with 1 serving of vegetables or a piece of fruit. Maybe the goal, maybe you want to try some new recipes. Dr. Vollmer talked about, incorporating foods that taste good, right? Using your spice cabinet as your medicine cabinet. So adding some spices and flavorings to your meals. Maybe that's something you want to set a goal around. Journaling, meal planning, and prepping is a big one that really sets us up to be successful. When we have a plan, we are always more successful. So maybe that's an area where you want to get a little stronger this month. The more that you can narrow down your goal, the more likely you are to be successful. So really starting to be as, specific as possible with what it is you want to achieve this month. Start small and practice. Everybody's feeling really motivated right now. Again, it's January. Sometimes we feel like, we might set a goal and it might be kind of lofty just based on the amount of motivation that you're feeling right now. So let's be realistic and be confident that you can achieve your goal. So ask yourself, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident am I to achieve this habit or make progress with this habit by the end of the month? And keep in mind what Dr. Vollmer mentioned also, small steps equal big change. You don't need like that 3% rule, right? We don't need to make massive amounts of change in order, like in a small amount of time. Oftentimes, we're not successful with that anyway. So small steps. Also celebrate your quick wins. Rather than focusing on what you have not achieved or what's not going well, which is really the way the human brain works. We like to focus on those things, right? It kind of takes away or overshadows some of the good that we're doing. Highlight the small things that you do well each day. I've had, I remember one time a patient told me that their mindset was, oh, I had a terrible breakfast. So just forget it. The rest of the day is ruined. I might as well just start over tomorrow. Well, sometimes if you get up and you're in a rush, you got up late, you're trying to get out the door, maybe the meal plan that you had for yourself, doesn't take shape that day. And you end up going through a drive-through, right? Well, then focus on what you can do the rest of the day. Maybe you can drink all your water. Maybe you can take a walk at lunchtime. Maybe, you do better with your dinner meal. But celebrating, those things that are going well for you, pull out the quick wins for yourself. This is going to help you build confidence in building that long-term habit. Also lean on your circle. We all need support when we're making changes, especially to our behaviors. So this community is here to support you over the next month with messages, recipes, information, amazing webinars with world-leading experts. But while you're making this change, also telling a family member or a friend or neighbor or coworker that you are embarking on a change for yourself. You want to get healthier. You're trying to develop better habits. This can really be helpful to your success when you're trying to build sustainable behavior change. We need encouragement and support along the way, and oftentimes the people that you're telling, that you're making a change, your support people, they oftentimes need to change too. So maybe you can help each other out in that way. And then aim for better, not perfect. Nobody is perfect. You will mess up, you will get off track. And the important thing is that you focus on what you can do to get back on track as quickly as possible. It might be a mindset shift, like I mentioned earlier, rather than feeling down about yourself because, oh, I missed my workout today, or, I had a terrible lunch or whatever it is. Just focus on the things that you're doing well. In one of my fellow teammates, another health coach, she has this great analogy where, if your car gets a flat tire, what are you going to do? You're not going to like throw the car away, trade it in for another car, right? You're going to fix the tire and you're going to get back on the road. So, just think about those things as you go through the process of building this habit that you're trying to work on throughout this month. In order for it to be sustainable, we're going to mess up sometimes and we're going to have to keep practicing. So, think about, remind yourself like that you are indeed making progress. And it doesn't matter how slow you go. This is not a race. So, think about these things as you are creating this goal for yourself over the next month. And then on the next slide, um, this is going to begin obviously today starts the Plant Power Challenge, and this is week 1. So remembering the strategies that we just talked about, right? Be specific, start small when you're taking on the challenge. You want to set yourself up for as much success as possible. Um, meet yourself where you're at currently too. And day to day, that might change a little bit. Decide what is most doable for you. If you're just getting started with adding in more whole foods, begin with level 1 for this challenge for yourself and be specific. Again, be as specific as possible. An example might be I will add broccoli to my dinner each day and I will eat it first. Sometimes that concept, when we're trying to add in more whole plant foods, can be an easy one to grasp. So if you think about, I'm just going to start, I'm adding in more whole plant foods. That's what I'm doing. I'm adding in. Don't, you're not thinking about how I can't have this, I have to eliminate that, I can't enjoy these things. You're adding in more whole plant foods and then trying to get in the habit of eating it first. So how you plate up your food can make a big difference in that.
Mhm.
Oftentimes we talk to our patients about like filling your plate half full of vegetables and then a quarter of, your plate with your lean protein, a quarter with your carbohydrate. Maybe, start practicing that and then eating those vegetables first. So sometimes that can be an easy habit as we're trying to add in more whole plant foods to, kind of to pick up on quickly. Um, but pick what goal that you would like and be as specific as possible. A tip for getting to level 3, maybe if you're trying to push yourself a little bit, could be to make the banana muffin recipe that came in your email today and make that tonight, and then have a banana muffin for breakfast each day this week. And then, also maybe a little challenge boost to that might be to add a piece of fruit to go with it. So these are easy things too, right? Like, like we talked earlier about like preparing yourself. Like when we have a plan, we do a little bit better. So if you're trying to get better at meal planning and prepping, maybe your goal is I will set aside 15 minutes 1 day a week to prepare something for the week ahead. Make those muffins, have them for breakfast, get a bag of apples, like we talked about earlier. Those can be inexpensive and a great way to amplify your nourishment. So
That can help you get to that level 2 challenge too, right, Chris? Where you add like
yeah.
an apple on your way home from work, so you're not ravenous in the evening hours. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to start with a level 3. I'm going to start every day this week with a plant-based breakfast. I'm going to do like overnight oats, avocado toast,
Yep.
something like that. What are you going to do?
Well, I love the overnight oats. I typically like on a Sunday, I use mason jars. I know you can really use any kind of
Hmm.
container that you have, but I line up 4 jars on my kitchen counter and I just kind of assembly line it.
Yep.
And that way, and I make sure I have some fresh berries, or if I chop up an apple, I can throw that in the overnight oats
Good
too.
point.
But yeah, it's nice to make them like I'll try to make each of them a different flavor profile for the week. I've added cocoa powder to mine too, and some
Hmm.
peanut butter. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I love avocado toast as well. So good. If I'm working from home, that's always,
Mhm.
kind of a good go-to.
And you can use the recipes, everyone, that we've sent out. Some of these textures or flavors might not be your favorite place to start. But
Mhm.
if that's not like what you want to do, then maybe make an unsweetened Greek yogurt with some fruit and nuts and really
Yeah.
try and control and start to read the labels of the foods that you're eating. Give it a shot. Pick one of these challenges and use
Mhm.
our guides and tools to support you on your journey, or phone a friend that you know has really good ideas or recipes too and say like, what do you do for breakfast, or what are your best snacks? We have the handouts attached. We have some different energy bites, oats, granola, smoothies. The sky's the limit. So get ready, get started. We're so happy to have you here. Um, Chris, there's so many ways they connect with us, right? You can check us out on Facebook, you can use a QR code,
Mhm.
check your email, we'll be sending weekly updates, and
Mhm.
share this challenge with others. Bring people into your fold, like Chris said.
Mhm.
Build your support network, and also lean in on us. We're so thrilled to
Yes.
have you. And
Yeah.
we encourage you to take each week step by step, enjoy the sessions, add more whole plant foods to your diet. We're here to help you at Corewell. And food is medicine. Spread the word. Enjoy the Plant Powered Challenge. Thank you for joining us today, and let's get started.
Yes, thank you all very much. You're all well equipped to see some meaningful change take place this month. So use the tools and resources that you're receiving, and be sure to check our Facebook page every day too, and grow your circle, like Dr. Vollmer mentioned. Grow your support team, and we're here for you every step of the way.